Last video segment for lesson 10, we're going to talk about some more of these text functions here, and we're going to look at proper, upper, lower, and concatenate. All right, so proper is going to capitalize the first letter in a text string and any other letters in the text that follow any characters other than a letter. So some of you call this title case. It's like capitalizing the first letter in each word that should be capitalized. Kind of like you would do in a book title or a book report title, excuse me, and maybe an English class. The structure is pretty easy. Excel does all the work for you. You don't even have to think about it. It will capitalize all that it is supposed to. So we are going to go back to our file that we were using in the last video segment, the alarm code. And we are going to go to cell N1. And here we have some names that are not capitalized, and they should be. So we are going to use I'm sorry, no, we're not. We are going to click in A11, and we are going to type in first, and then we're going to go to B11, and we're going to type in last, and C11, we're going to type in birthday, and we are going to apply heading 3 down here. So that's, of course, on the home tab in the styles group that we're going to go to do that. And then we're going to go to A12. And in A12, they want us to use the proper function. So we are going to go to the formulas bar. We're going back to text. And if we scroll on down here, we see proper. And pretty easy, one argument. What cell do you want to make proper? We would like to do J2, or excuse me, we would like to do N2 in this case, because that's where the first name is. Okay, and then you should see little DAVID, and then it'll capitalize the big D in David, and then the rest are lowercase. And then I am going to press OK. And I'm going to fill this down to 18 because that was the last name that I had. Now, if I tried to fill this down to 19, notice it would just leave it blank because there's no cell there. There's nothing in N9 to capitalize. So now I'm going to do the same thing with last, and this time I'm going to press FX. I'm going to type in proper, and it comes up. And there is the text again, and I'm doing last, so I'm doing O2, and again, it's going to take Ortiz from all lowercase and capitalize the O in Ortiz because that's what should happen. And I'm going to double click, and I'm going to fill it down. It's going to go down to 18 because that's what was filled over to the left of it. And now it is all capitalized as it should be. And I'm going to autofit column B so I can see all the names. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing over here with birthday. I'm going to go to formulas, and I'm going to do recently used. I'm going to click on proper. And this time, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to click on birthday, and I am going to click on J2, and I am going to press OK, and I'm going to fill it down, and it will capitalize what it should. Now it's pretty easy, one argument, just pick the proper, pick the text that goes along with it, and it will do all of the work for you. And we didn't have to lock anything in because we wanted the rows to change as we filled them down. I'm going to press save, and then I'm going to come over here, and the next function we're going to look at is the upper, and the upper follows the conversion to turn everything into uppercase or all capital letters. And another very easy one in terms of the syntax or the structure or the arguments as the last one that we did. So they would like us to go to cell D11, and we are going to type in here EMPCAT1, and then I am going to press tab, and I'm in E11. I'm going to type EMPCAT2, and I am going to press enter, and it is going to take me down. I'm going to change the styling here just to make sure it is the right one, so we are good to go. All right, so in D12, we are going to turn this to upper, and that is on the formulas ribbon, and it is in the text group. And if I scroll down, there is upper, and I am looking for the cell that I want to convert to all uppercase, and we are trying to convert this L2. I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to fill it down to 18. And now what was lowercase in L2 to L8 is now uppercase. And what I'm going to show you here is that I'm going to fill this to the right this time. And since L2 was what I was using here, and what I need it for in E12 is right next door, I can fill it to the right because the columns change. And I can press enter, and I can also fill it down, and now everything is capitalized. Notice there's a 1 in here, and that stays the same because it's capitalizing the letters. All right, gonna press save. All right, our next function is the lower function. And the lower function converts upper to lowercase. Lower does not change the characters in the text that are not letters, just like I showed you with the upper, okay? You can use the lower function in the following exercise to apply lowercase in order to more easily tell the difference between the 0 and the letter O, okay? Which is a common mistake when people are working with zeros and O's. So I'm going to go to F11, and I am going to type in 0, and I am going to type in code 1, and I am going to type in, and I'm going to show you here, I'm going to type in O, and then I'm going to type in code 2. So do you see the difference between the two? Okay. This one is a big and this is a little. So this first one should have been little if I'm looking at the direction. So it was not an 0, it was an O. And I knew that the second I pressed enter because of how it capitalized, but that's just a little FYI when working with Excel. Again, making sure it's heading 3, so I'm good to go. All right, so I'm going to go to F12. I'm going to go to the Formulas tab. I am going to go to Text, and I am going to look for lower. And again, one argument, what cell are you trying to convert to lowercase? And they tell us that it is F2. And I am going to press OK. And now I can see the difference very easily, maybe, that between the two. So my zeros are big and my O's are small. All right, and the same thing, if I want to do, I could fill this over to the right instead of going up and doing, and then I can fill down. And since these two are right next to each other up here, I can do that down here in this case. If they weren't next to each other, I could not do that. So that is one use. If you had something that was in all caps, you could easily convert it down as well, opposed to doing the difference between 0 and O. All right. The last one. All right, concatenate. All right, in some cases, you want to combine text strings together. That's what concatenate is for. Essentially, it's like I want to use this cell and this cell and this cell and this cell and this cell, and I want to make a new cell out of a bunch of different cells. So it will bring different strings together, if you will, merge whatever it is that you are trying to do. This is a text function as well. All right. So the name makes it sound so much harder than it really is. All right, so they tell us to go to H11, and they want us to, in cell H11, they want you to type a comma and a space, and then they want you to go to I11, and they want you to type in first and last, and then go back down to H12. This will all make sense. Just a second. From the formula bar in the function library group, text, and there is concatenate. And we see 2 arguments, but you can have up to 255 with this one if you need it to. Alrighty. So in the first text box, we are going to take B12. So B12 has Ortiz, okay? And then we're in text 2, and we're going to click on H11, which is our comma. I could, if I wanted to, I could, instead of typing in H11, I could type in the comma myself like so. It's encased with double quotation marks. Now, the only difference is in my H11, I did a space after my comma. So if I wanted to do that, I do double quote, comma, space, double quote. And that will encompass my double quote. So speaking of things, if I wanted to just do a space in my concatenate, I would do double quote, space, double quote, and I would end up with a space. If I had a word that I wanted to type like hello, and I wanted a space before it, that's what I would do. I wanted a space after it, I would type hello, space, double quote. That's why we use the double quotes, because we can kind of control that spacing there. But we have a cell that has our information in there, so that's what H11 is for. And we always want it to be H11, so I'm going to press F4 and lock that in. So we'll always, always, always be the comma with a space. And then they want us to go down, and in text 3, we're going to go click on cell A12, and we are reading this to be Ortiz, comma, space, David, and we brought it together. I'm going to auto fit, okay, and then I am going to double check, because H12 is where it was supposed to be. Yep. All right, now they want us to click OK, copy the formula down to H18, which I have here. Okay, and then it says that we should go to I12. I'm going to auto fit this so it's not spilling over, and we're going to do this again. So I'm going to go back to text. I'm going to click on concatenate, and I am going to click on A12. Okay, and I'm going to do first, and then I'm going to do a space. And I showed you the space is just double quote, pressure space bar, double quote, and then I'm going to do last name. And then I am going to press OK, and I'm going to auto fit the column, and I might have to do that again. I'm going to double click, auto fit, and now I end up with the first and last name with a space in between by bringing together a bunch of different cells. And I'm going to check my cell style real quick to make sure they're all heading 3, and now they are, and that is how you do a concatenate. So let me show you something real quick. I could do concatenate as well. I could do, let's do recently used, let's click on it. So maybe I want to do Ortiz, and I want to do a hyphen, so I would click on the cell, hyphen, double quote, and then I want to click on their birthday, and I'm going to press OK, and I can do so. Okay. I can also come in here, go to recently used. I could take, if I wanted to, David Ortiz. I could type something in. I could do a space, comma, space, double quote, comma, space, double quote, and then I could do DOB, so I could type in my own stuff if I wanted to. It doesn't have to be just cells that I'm clicking on. And then I could go over here and click on April if I wanted to. And then I could keep scrolling down and do some more. And I could put a period in here if I wanted to, double quote, period, if I needed to. And then if I wanted to start my sentence up again, I could do so. Maybe I want a space. So this one would be a space. And then I could go down the next argument and I could type in, oh, I don't know, would we use Ortiz? And then the next one could be, let's say, 4. And we could click on his floor up here. And the next argument, and I could press OK. And now I get this really long, drawn out, brought together. I could double click so you can see it's one thing. Concatenate search string where it's brought a bunch of things together. So I can, what I'm trying to show you here is I can click on cells. I can just type things in. I can mock a space with a double quotation mark encompassing the space. I could put a period and have a space before and after it. It's essentially, it's a search string, right? It's brought together by whatever thoughts and cells and things that you type in there will allow it to become whatever the search string results is that you want. Hope this helps. Thanks.